Walk with us from the Real Alcazar to the Parque de Maria Luisa, passing by the Palacio de San Telmo, and marveling the Torre del Uro. Global Citizen welcomes you to Seville. My parents, together with my sister, boarded a connecting flight from Atlanta, Georgia to Seville via Boston, Massachusetts. It was a good day, and they had quite a comfortable flight.
We landed in Seville from Boston in the afternoon. I was very excited because this will be my first time to visit the country and the region where my ancestors were from. The fact that my middle name is Sevilla was enough for me to sit proudly when I saw the big letters from afar, bearing the same letters I had been writing as my name since I can remember.
It was a hot afternoon, but my mom could not sit still. She has been telling us about Seville from the time we were young. True, her middle name is Sevilla, but even she does not really know what the implications were. But this day was special. I could see her smile was different, and her eyes were gleaming with happy tears behind her sunglasses. After her DNA test showing her 1/4 Iberian, a trip to Seville was an obvious choice. And when we landed, my dad said she was beaming at the airport's large signboard. Ranging from Renaissance, Gothic, Baroque, and modern, there is an explosion of architectural design your eyes can feast on here in Seville. We were dropped off at a corner of a small alley. Taxis can't go in narrow alleyways, so we walked a little bit more, maybe about 100 feet, and reached our historic hotel, the Hotel Murillo. We freshened up a bit, trying to brush off our body's confused state due to the time difference. As for me, I was very excited. I wanted to go out and explore the city. My mom kept telling me about this TV series, Game of Thrones, but I was not old enough to watch it, so my dad was looking at her sideways, as if to tell her in his own way, stop confusing the child.
Seville is the capital of Andalusia, a region in southern Spain, a historic city popular with tourists. Its old town contains 3 UNESCO World Heritage Sites: the Alcazar Palace Complex, the Seville Cathedral, and the General Archives of the Indies. The flamenco is based on various music traditions in Andalusia, and they vary in styles. There are many flamenco street performances you can see in Seville. You just have to watch out for them. Here, there are hop-on, hop-off bus tours that take tourists around the city with an audio guide in different languages, selections and playing notable sightings. They managed to ride one as they rested after a long walk. My sister, unfortunately, was so tired that she fell asleep while my parents took advantage of the beautiful sights around the city. You may already know about the history of Seville, but to those who don't, Seville is approximately 2,200 years old, and it was supposedly mythologically founded by Heracles, as he mildly sailed through the Straits of Gibraltar and founded trading posts in Cadiz and Seville. And of course, we must talk about the romantic Spanish guitar and the way they pluck and play it. Classical guitar playing in Spain dates back as far as 16th century, based on written history. As the lute was getting popular in Europe at the time, the Spaniards didn't want to be associated with it because of the lute's connection with the Moors. Instead, they developed this instrument that almost looked like a lute, but with the addition of two more strings, the instrument is called viola.
We stayed at the historic Murillo Apartments in the heart of Old Town Seville. These apartment hotels were part of the famous Spanish painter Bartolomé Esteban Murillo's lodging apartment. His realistic style of painting not only expresses the emotion of some religious works he did, but also portray and record a very good depiction of everyday life in Spain. He created a lot of artwork and is exhibited all over the world. His work had been reproduced and his style imitated by a lot of painters in his time and also afterwards. Walking in Old Town Seville is fun. The buildings are old, but they are very charming, especially with different styles of balconies in them. They remind me of New Orleans. It is amazing how much you learn just by walking around and looking at the shops and the people.
Smile, girls.
A word I learned from my mom since I was young is tapa. I am very much familiar with foods from different cultures, but tapa was one of the very first I learned. Although her tapa is a combination of fried rice, eggs, cured meat or dried fish, the Spanish tapa is a dish I was not going to miss out on.
Smile, Moni. This is so cute. Alright. Yeah, good.
It's funny when I look it up in Wikipedia where the word came from. It means to cover or atop in English. It says that the original tapas were slices of meat or bread to prevent fruit flies from getting inside the glass in the taverns in Andalusia. Now tapas are really just small portions of a meal, what we call appetizers here in the US, or a snack. But still eating tapas in Seville is one thing I'm not going to pass.
This is the Cathedral of Saint Mary of the Sea, a UNESCO heritage site together with the Alcazar Palace. After its completion in the 16th century, it toppled Hagia Sophia as the largest cathedral in the world, a title which Hagia Sophia held for nearly 1,000 years. Of course now, it is not the largest cathedral in the world anymore.
Hi, girls.
Our trip will not be complete without the visit to the Alcazar of Seville, the royal palace. It is a very interesting historic architectural building. You can go in with a ticket by yourself or with your family and explore the palace. But since we would like to have an organized way to explore and learn about it more, we decided to do it with a tour guide. An Alcazar is a Moorish-style castle in Spain and Portugal during the Muslim rule. An Alcazar is built by the Abbadids, an Arab Muslim dynasty who ruled Andalus between 1023 to 1091 on this particular piece of land. When the Christians conquered Seville, they built a palace on it. This is an example of Modihar architecture, a method used by Iberian Christian kingdoms in the 13th to 15th century. As my daughter pointed out in our Ronda video about the Moriscos of Ronda, Modihar was a term used by the Moors of Al-Andalus who never left Iberia after the Reconquista, but were not initially forced to convert to Christianity, unlike the Moriscos of Ronda.
The reconstruction of the palace extended to about 500 years, and as you can see, the various architectural designs are all over the place. There is nothing left of its original design, just the main architecture redesigned with Islamic ornamentation and patterns. This is a very good example of merging of two religions. Miss Alcazars, or castle, including this one, were converted into Christian monarchs' residences. Thus, you will see the design and decorations are very unique. It is because changes were made to accommodate this monarch's sports lifestyles. When Isabella and Ferdinand ruled, the upper floor was extended and redesigned to be the main residence of the monarchs. This particular room we're entering is called Salón de Embajadores, or the Ambassador's Hall. This room was built during the reign of Al-Mutamid in the 11th century, a member of the Abbadons, an Arab Muslim dynasty. Charles V and Isabella of Portugal were married in this room. Philip II of Spain's parents who married Queen Elizabeth's sister, Mary, the same Philip that the Philippines was named after. This courtyard is called Patio de las Concas, or the Courtyard of the Maidens. This was the courtyard you saw in the movie by the Ridley Scott Kingdom of Heavens, as the court of the King of Jerusalem. Also, the upper story of the courtyard was an addition made by Charles V. As the day wound down and everyone came out to the garden, this body of water is called Mercury Pond. This pond serves as a water source for the whole garden. Its higher position makes it one of the most brilliant functional and beautiful strategy elements of the building compound. The final part of the tour was Los Baños de Doña María de Padilla, or the Baths of Lady María de Padilla, beneath the Patio Rosero. María de Padilla was the mistress of Peter Agustin.
We walked around more. feeling the cool breeze all around us. This was home for some of my ancestors, and it is good to come here and visit as a pilgrimage or just saying I'm here and it feels good.